telling, I spoke to Heather a little bit on and off, and I commend her for her work. I commend everyone for whatever they're doing. What I wanted to make clear to them, and it's clear to everyone, is that we have our own asset. You get it? So away from the financial system that's been rotted to the core, we have an asset that has nothing to do with paper. It's our own personal assets. And some of them are in the form of symbols, such as 5-ton golden Buddhas. And things like this. So we don't, like I was telling Brother Brian today, he was asking me about Brother Adnan. I can care less. Like the Empress doesn't care at all about what anyone is doing. Anyone. She is coming for her family's asset. We have 400 years of proof of our asset, as well as gold DNA, the DNA of the gold. We have all of the treaties because the Chinese kept records for hundreds and hundreds of years. Not 50 years, not a week, not a few months ago, you know? So we know exactly what we're doing. The reason we're going to do anything with the BIS, for one reason solely, to help the people of the world. Because there's another credit line where people lied and they created derivatives based off of our collateral, which was gold. They don't own any gold. So they created a new credit line, and this credit line has been used to buy up many corporations and to dupe the world. We feel...
You know, you're going to take this to the World Court, right, Malik?
Yes, we're already... what we're doing, we're building up the legal team first. And once the legal team has been built correctly, we've selected 1,000 attorneys. And once that's done, then we're waiting for some more information that Anonymous is giving us. And then once that's done, then we'll be going to the World Court, yes.
Do you need 1,000 attorneys for that?
Yes, because the reason why is because we're going to also sue in every single court. So there's a committee of 300 that are the violators. And we don't only want to go after the banking institutions. We want to go personally after the owners and the operators of those banking institutions. So the lawsuits will not merely be against the bank. It'll be against the governor of the bank. So that's why. I'm sorry.
Just continue, Malik, please. I didn't want to interrupt you.
And the reason why, what it is also, it's a legal counsel. So we make sure that we have a strong stance. And, you know, it's also very symbolic. Do we need 1,000? No, maybe 400. But we're gonna have 4. We're gonna make a very aggressive legal push. In reference to once the World Court gives our order, once we win in World Court, because we will. The reason why is because we are the rightful heirs and owners of the collateral accounts, meaning those collateral accounts, we are the only one. There's only 2 sets of papers.
Well, this is something I can't involve myself with, Malik. That would be up to the court to decide. But one thing I would be interested in trying to get deeper into is, let's say, given that your case goes through, okay? Let's say that is given. What is the plan after that?
To seize the assets, put the remaining assets, including all of Adnan's fake assets, into a foundation that will be distributed to pro rata to the people of the world. You can tell Adnan I said it too. We're going to take his assets, which he believes are his, which really aren't. We will give him, if he's not arrested, then we will give him a portion of those assets. The majority of all of those assets, which rates into quadrillions of dollars, which were derived off the stealing of the Chinese warlord, Chiang Kai-shek, who worked for the Empress, all of those funds will be put into a foundation that will be governed by the selected people of the world. Am I in charge of that selection? No. I think you should probably get some people in every country who's notable and meritable. You know, there's a lot of good people out there. You put them onto a foundation, and then they sit there, and then they say, okay, let's create the 200 other foundations, and then distribute funds into those foundations, empowering the people of those countries, because foundations will be embodiments of the people and not the government. And then the people will have collateral to go to the treasuries of those countries and take back over the treasuries. And then once again, the people will be responsible for paying the police and paying the system. You don't need to break the system. The system's not that bad. You just need to make it so that the people are the ones who are the depositors.
How would the new system that you are portraying enable humanity to be free from these debt systems that have been imposed on us?
We're going to get rid of the debt system completely. All the assets that are online, all of the debts of the world, which are what Adnan Sackley is holding, he has a good ledger of them. They shouldn't be debts. They're actually illegal. They are derivatives from collateral that was ours, that no one ever had the authority to use. So they stole our car, they drove it around town, they got paid for driving our car, and then when we woke up in the morning, our car was back in the parking lot. And they took the money that they made from driving our car around and bought another car, and they continued to do the same scam. So what happened was Adnan and the Bush family and all of those guys, they had unrightfully used our collateral to repatriate people and to buy companies. All of those transactions are illegal. All of those transactions derive from our collateral. That means all of those transactions, be it that they were illegal, what do we do with them? Do we throw them away? Do we erase them? That's one thing we can do. We can just erase them all. That's unrealistic. What we can do, we can take them from debts and turn them into credits. And we can credit all of Adam's accounts plus all the other accounts that were used to bamboozle the world and put them into a foundation. And now that foundation, all of these funds that were created, because all a derivative is a derivative of your blood, your sweat, and your tears. You know, so because usury is illegal, of course. So the derivative, what they did, they told you that they had gold, and they gave you paper, and they said, listen, it's backed in gold, but they never had that gold. So what happened was they had you working and giving them product for paper that never, from day one, could have been backed. That is illegal. We can prove it. We're the ones who have the asset. We're the gold that they claim they have. We know they don't have our gold. All they have are SKRs, which are safekeeping records of the gold that they had claimed that they are backing their system off of. So what should happen is the BIS should do a collateral call on all 48 banks, all 48 central banks. A collateral call of 1%. Anyone think that any of those banks can show a 1% collateral call? Right, 1%. We would like to check the DNA of the gold. And then once we find out the DNA of the gold is from China, 1900s, now we want to see the ownership of this gold and who gave it to you. And we want to know how this transaction took place. And we'll find out that all of those transactions are illegal. So once we find out they're illegal, we'll take the bank charter. Snatch their bank charter.
As assuming again this would be able to happen if you won in the court case. What kind of time frame are you thinking about?
So what happens is that we've been working very closely between those governments, the ministers of defense of those countries, to create something called the ARC, which is the American, the Russian, and the Chinese army. And what they would be used to do, they would be used to enforce the ruling of the world collateral debts. And then what we would do, we would pay those, use them, then go into India and pick up another threatening force, you see, and then go to North Korea, go to all of the countries that are nuclear, you see, and make one force, and then sign a disarmament pact. So that's our goal, man. We're going to use Russia, China, and the United States right now. We're working together. Once we get the ruling in court, we will enforce those liens. If they don't, we have the military waiting to go. We're ready to go and detain the bankers, and they will not have their rights read. We will detain those bankers, and what we will do, we won't have them read their rights, right? But what we will do, we'll record it so that the world can see. We'll record the questioning. We'll record when we caught them, when we walked with them, where we went, to see that we didn't put them under any unnecessary pressure. You see? But we're not going to read them no rights, because those rights are governed by the laws of the Queen. So we don't give a fuck about the Miranda right. We want to know certain things. So what's going to happen is this. The BIS is going to put liens. We're going to put liens against the central banks, the 48 central banks. The equivalent of $20 trillion a piece, something around there. We have documents to back up the transactions. It's more than 20 trillion, but just to keep on a regular number, something that we know they can't pay.
Yeah.
When we win in court, they're going to have to pay us. What we're going to do, we're going to foreclose on those banks. See, because this girl has the right idea, but she's not the custodial owner of the bank. She has nothing in the bank. You know? We do. We do have a legal claim. So once we take those banks over, what we're merely going to do is this. Everyone says the system's going to collapse. No. We're going to put in a new team of people in those banks that have a little bit more merit that we can watch. You see? So we're not tearing the bank down. We're just moving the douchebags out of the bank. We're freezing all of the former activity that took place in that bank until the courts rule on it. And then we'll put up another 100 trillion in credit lines, 100 trillion in collateral, so that we can issue new credit or a new. We're going to have a mini economist going over this, because for every single country, it's a different area. You know, every single country is different.
How much are the people going to be involved in your plan, or is this a plan that's chosen from the top down?
No, the people are going to be involved in their own territories and in their own towns, in their own village, in their own places, in their own states. In reference to us going to war against the Federal Reserve, against the central bank, we are the depositors. We have every right to have a personal battle with the central bank.
When you say we, Malik, just for clarity, how do you define we?
Oh, it is the dynasty, the Chang dynasty, the one whose the gold was stolen from them, which is on record with the raping of Nanjing, the one who the Japanese and the Eastern Europe, the Japanese and the Opium Wars came in when they robbed. It wasn't an Opium Wars. They should have called it the Gold Wars, because they stole gold, not opium. Opium was another thing that they sold. That's what they traded in, opium and gold, right? So they stole gold out of Asia, and they killed people. The president of China, he was working for the dynasty. He then took gold from the dynasty and put it into boats, and he sunk the boats in the ocean. And then he worked, keep in mind, this is while he was working for him. Then he sent his cousin to Taiwan. His name was General Lee. General Lee became the president of Taiwan. At that time, Chiang Kai-shek was caught. So with the gold that he sunk, what he was doing, he took an insurance claim against it, and he was funneling the money into Taiwan. When he got busted, he fled to Taiwan with his wife, Madam Chiang Kai-shek. We don't call her Madam Chiang Kai-shek. We call her Madam Mei Ling, and which is her Chinese name. And then when they fled there, she took the SKRs, the proof of the gold, the paper proof of the gold.
Yeah.
And she went to the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all of these guys, and she said, look, I got a bunch of gold. And then they said, okay, we'll give you cash. And they gave him credit lines against the fake paper. When they asked, where is the gold, she told him it was in the the treasury of Taiwan.
Which is under the sea.
Yeah, exactly, which is in the ocean. Correct, brother. See, so that's what we're saying. So we have the personal right, meaning the Chang dynasty and the empress have the personal right to go after her family heirlooms and assets that were utilized and used.
How will the Chang dynasty claim its power?
Oh, we have it already done. Vladimir Putin, we're working with Vladimir Putin. We're working with the new premier of China is now Mongolian and Manchurian. President Obama is a dear friend of ours. He needs some money. So what we're doing now is we're all working together to, since we are the ones with the legal claim to the collateral accounts, and now we own China because we are in position of power, meaning the prime minister is our family, and the highest ministers are all Mongolian once again and Manchurian. There's now been a new Manchurian mandate, and Buddha has been elected, which is the empress. And come 2016, there will no longer be the People's Republic of China because we will foreclose, not really foreclose on them, but we will bankrupt it.
Mm-hmm.
It's already bankrupted. It's merely a corporation. We're going to get rid of the People's Republic of China. We're going to unite Asia underneath China. Their motherland. We're gonna feed North Korea again. We're gonna feed all of the nations of Asia again. Prior to when all of the Europeans came in and raped and tried to pillage and brought their division to our people. And it's going to be a different world. The Europeans destroyed Asia. The Europeans created North Korea. The Europeans created Vietnam, the conflicts. They also, the Europeans, they bombed Laos more than anywhere else in the world. The Europeans led to all of the revolts during our dynasty.
The history that you were summing up, Western civilization, has done much harm to the planet.
We're blaming specific countries.
Yes.
We're blaming specific countries. England, France, all of them are in Europe. And you know what? Because you know what? They lied to most of y'all guys. They lied to you. You know what they made you believe? They made you believe that you guys weren't of the Mongolian race. But the Norwegians and the Finnish, you guys and the Russians, we're all the same people. You see? And this is what they all forgot. And we're also the Native American. We're also the Han Chinese. We're the original man. We all are.
Well, so all of humans are from the same source.
There was another human that was grafted, and he doesn't have a soul. He has a spirit. He doesn't have a soul. He doesn't deal in the laws of karma. He's another kind of a creation. He was the first. He's a clone. He's not a clone. He's man-made. You see, so there's some beings that are running around that are not you, and not me. And there's a lot of them. I'm trying to tell you, brother. So no, it's not. All human beings aren't. That's why when I talk about 99%.
This is just from personal experience. I found that the claim of one human to say that another human does not have a soul and that they're a clone or whatever has been the excuse people have been used up to thousands of years to kill each other.
No. We're not trying to kill them. The guys, these are the ones that have, hear me out, brother. The ones that have no soul are the ones that are saying you don't have it. Get it? So they're always just like the Illuminati. Like anyone who says they're against the Illuminati is a fool. The church killed us for years. The church hunted us down for years. You see. And they're hunting us down for years. They hunted us down because we said things like the world was round, and they wanted the world to believe it was flat. They wanted people to believe that they had to speak to God through them. And we said, no, we believe that God gave us reasoning, and that's our gift that God gave us, the ability to reason. And we don't need to speak to another man to go to God. And that's what we were killed for. Our sister Joan of Arc was burned. Our brother Jesus Christ was crucified. But everyone runs around and acting like they're against the Illuminati. Then I love these guys that run around and say, oh, I don't want the New World Order. Well, that's ridiculous. Because the guys in power, they don't want a New World Order. They want to keep the old world order. And the old world order means they get everything and you get nothing. And so we do need a new world order at 100%. And it's coming no matter anyone likes it or not, because it was designed by the stars. You see, some people look at their watch, other people look into the galaxy. And some people are timed by the galaxy while others are timed by their watch.
I perceive time by the galaxy, and I do agree with you, Malik, on all these principles.
Yes, sir.
And I would, of course, like to know a lot more about the details from different sources, but this is going to be an interesting time. And I would like to give you an even airtime, because I think your claims are just as relevant. However, other people may disagree.
But there's a difference. The difference is we don't talk. I only talk personal, but you guys, what talks for us is the astrological and astronomical clock. So we don't need to talk because the stars are walking.
In this search for clarity, which many people are trying to engage in, Brian and I, especially me specifically, have tried to delve into what is what in the history with Adnan. He's been very helpful for that. And of course, when more information comes online, then the map gets bigger all the time, you know.
Think about this, though. Genghis Khan.
And your story makes a lot. The story is making a lot of sense.
Of course it does, and that's why Adnan's never asked these kind of questions. How can you get something? That's like that's like you meeting Michelle Obama, right? 20 years from now, and then you knowing Michelle Obama, and then Michelle Obama going to Hawaii, and Obama, you find out he was sinking ships from America, filled with the American treasury's gold. And he goes to Hawaii, calls it Obamaville, and he uses the treasury to establish himself around the world. And then you ended up partnering with Michelle Obama, and Michelle Obama and you go to Switzerland and you cut a deal.
Well, let's put it this way. If I had lived Adnan's life, which is extremely difficult for me to imagine, and I had wound up in some way, shape, or form with the authority that he says he has, and I wanted to change the system to be a humanity system that was very different, then I would do what I could to make that happen. And whatever my past sins would be, I would say, this is my part of making the world a better place. Now, let's say if that's true, and if the Genghis Khan people are also true in this, couldn't they agree on the common intentions and let's say, well, let's just make it happen in cooperation to the both of us? Could that happen?
Okay. Can I ask that real quick?
Yeah.
Can I ask that? First off, we've tried to do this in 1963, and people came, remember, Google it, it's called the Green-Hilton Treaty Agreement. We tried to do it, right? And then what happened was they said, oh, yeah, they said, we're going to do it. We're going to bring world peace. We're going to do this. And they took the asset and they used it for other purposes. They bamboozled and tricked us. Then we did it again, even with the Bush family. The Bush family came to the Chinese asking for money, asking for support. And so, no, that's incorrect.
I understand the Chinese have been ripped off a long time because of the Americans.
No, yeah. So what happens is, no, we don't trust that no more. No. We're not giving it to none of those guys. No, we don't believe them. We don't believe the Turks. We don't believe the Americans. We don't believe the Europeans.
Is there any place I can go and find some research into, let's say, official plans or visions?
No, we'll die. You don't understand. This is a life and death thing that we're doing. That's how you know we're the real shit and they're the fake ones. Them, they sit there and they promote it on the thing. The dumb girl Heather talking about that she asked for military retrieval of the assets in Indonesia. With all the she's never even been there. There's a bunch of little kids there.
That's just weird.
No, but guess what? They're going to do it. I got news. See, you don't understand how powerful Heather is. A lot of people, you people keep playing with that girl, and you people don't understand who she really is.
That's the question. I don't know who Heather is.
I know exactly who she is, bro. And you guys, she owns you. I'll tell you that much. She owns all of y'all people. I mean, she really does. She owns y'all guys because you guys are not of a sovereign state. See, we are of a sovereign state. We are of a sovereign state. You guys are not of a sovereign state. She owns you. She filed the papers. She really does own you guys. And she'll tell you she owns you. And I'm telling you, legally she does.
Any
legally.
human that tells me that they own me, I say fuck themselves.
You got it. But legally she does own you.
I don't give a shit.
Adnan too. She owns Adnan too. Adnan thinks he owns you too.
Everybody thinks they own a part of me. I don't give a shit.
Me neither, but you understand my point? Us, we don't think we own any parts of you. All we want is our treasury back. Now, how about this? We don't want our treasury back. Our treasury is safe and sound. We don't need it. What we're saying is we're going to court so we can say, look at all these accounts and look at how you've been using our money to fuck people. Now you must stop it immediately. The Prime Minister of China had reached out last week, and said the Ponzi scams must stop. The U.S. Treasurer said, Federal Reserve, what you're doing is illegal and it must stop immediately, the quantitative easing. So that's what we've been doing. We've been making them do that. And so that's what we've been working on. But everything, it doesn't happen in a blink. So people say, why can't it, what's not happening? I said, of course it's happening. The Prime Minister of China just went on official record for telling the American people, the American banks, and the central banks to stop what they're doing, their Ponzi scam, and immediately. And the U.S. Treasurer, Jack Lew, Secretary Treasurer, just came forth and said, Ben Bernanke, what you're doing is illegal. You must stop it. That
sounds good.
Yeah, so that's a good start.
But now where does Heather come into this mix? How does Heather come into this mix?
Oh, she's a wizard, man. What Heather has done, man, but people don't realize what she has done. The U.S. government in the next few months are going to make it very hard to file liens. They're going to throw out all of those liens, and they're going to really take over private properties. The U.S. government's going to take all titles. And that's what Heather did. Heather made it so that the whole U.S., what they're going to do, that they're going to, the government's going to, because all those filings are becoming troublesome. And most of them are frivolous. Like Heather's filing against, Heather's filing against the BIS is frivolous. It's a frivolous lien. The BIS Heather has never been to the BIS. She's never walked in the building. They don't owe her shit. They really don't. We do. They do owe us because we have millions of papers, and the Anonymous is helping us get millions of more paperwork. The Anonymous works for us getting paperwork. So for our evidence and our crimes. And we're building up everything you see. We got cities of paperwork to back this stuff in criminal courts. You see? So for all the atrocities, we're going to take it. So in reference to where Heather fits in, Heather is making it so that the U.S. government and the governments of the world are actually going to stop acknowledging those UCC filings, and they're going to make it harder to file a lien. What she's also done, she's created so much division because you know how many people have been filing liens against innocent, honest, hard-working people?
Yeah.
It's like taking a hammer, putting it in a baby's head in a fucking kindergarten, and letting the baby go get whacked with no teacher in the room. So what she did is absolutely horrible. There's going to be people going to jail. People are going to have their names listed on suspicious list. That was one of the reasons why they passed that act. The Internet Information what's it called? CIPAS Act. That's one of the reasons. Because they want to know when people do things, why exactly are they doing it? When you file a lien against the U.S., against a fucking Federal Reserve, and you say for stealing the rights of the American, there's a lot of people write some crazy shit, bro. And that shit can come, gives them the right to want to see if you're going to be another homegrown terrorist, like the guy who just dropped the bomb. You see? So what she did, she basically rallied up around a lot of people, a lot of the agitators, a lot of the people who were the cores of, because to get 1 million people, all you have to do is get 50. So what she did, she took all of the people who really pay attention to this stuff, who really die hard into it, the 200, 300 people, 300,000 people. She got them all listed and registered. She got them all, right now, what they're doing, watch out. What they're doing right now, guess what they're doing? They're, putting themselves in criminal, in big time criminal trouble. They're instigating wars around the world by issuing military declarations. Holy shit! Let me tell you something. They're worse than Al Qaeda. You get what I'm saying? So they're gonna get those people up, man. They may go to Gitmo. Yeah, those people may go to Gitmo, bro, because read the article where she's encouraging telling them that they now have the right and authority to tell the Minister of Defense of Indonesia and the generals to overtake the land, because they have foreclosed on all of the courts and everybody, and that there would be trials, because they know what the crimes were. You get what I'm saying? Who would be the trial? Who would be tried? What would it be under Dutch law? You're talking about Indonesia, Dutch law. You don't realize that there's people in Indonesia that already want to do that. They didn't need to. They're just waiting for a reason to. You see? So what happens is they're going to use Heather and the OPPT as an excuse to start a revolution in Indonesia, and when they take power, they're not going to give Heather any power nor control. You see? And she has these military declarations all over the world, bro. I was telling her, and that's why she tried to change their name from OPPT to that other thing. I said, Heather, you know that in criminal courts you can be tried at this moment. If any war pops off due to your paperwork, due to your fraud, due to what constitutes as fraud, I'm telling you, man.
Good.
No, it's real bad what she did. I'm telling you what she did. She's real dangerous. And then I love how people call for revolutions and they're not in the land where they're calling it. Call for the revolution in Morocco, lady, and see how fast don't they scoop you up. Yeah. Listen, we can't have that kind of a revolution. There's kids in the street. We already seen what happens in Syria. So our solution for Syria is this. The Chinese military, the Russian military, the United States military, we surround Syria.
Daddy?
We say, Assad, come out. We'll send something for you. And then we say, whoever the rebel forces are, we're going to send something for you too. We're going to fly you out to the battleships, and we're going to have a negotiation. We're going to figure out what the hell is going on.
First of all, got to get rid of all the mercs.
Yeah. What we're going to do is going to stop paying them. See? That's the key. You stop paying them. You stop when the payments stop. Let me tell you something. There's a good chance that everything can fall really into another kind of time. People are waiting for some great transition. It may not be a great transition. And that's what the Empress was bringing to my attention. It could be bad.
Yes, I do agree. I see problems on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Yep. And you know why? Because I'm telling you, I listen to some of these blogs silently in the background, and I watch these guys, man, and they're more disrespectful than the system. I'm telling you, they're more disrespectful than the system, bro. They be telling people, just for stating their opinion, you're goddamn wrong. What the hell? I'm like, what is this, the mob ruling? Is this the mob ruling again?
Well, humanity has become very fragmented. It's in a sad shape, and I wonder if they're going to survive themselves.
What we're going to need is to use the strong force opposed to the weak force. Because what happens is when we deal with so much, everyone's been duped into believing that light is good. Light leads to deterioration. Light is the weak force. And the weak force of light is radiation. Radiation is light. Radiation is a weak force. It's the depth of particles, right? The strong force is what keeps molecules together, which is the dark force. The dark force is dark energy holds together the matter. When light is spread into many different pieces, it looks like dust on a black paper. You see?
Well, one is electric, one is magnetic. I know this shit.
Yeah, electric. Yeah, the electromagnetic is one. There's another. That's another force. And then then you have gravity, the weakest of them all. But there's something that keeps things together. So as a human race, if we can use the strong force, we can work together. Right now, we're using the weak force because when we open our eyes, we see someone looks different. The light hits our eyes, and it gives us deteriorated visions. When you're sleeping, that's triple stages of darkness is where peace is. In triple stages of darkness, it's warm, and nobody judges each other because it might be your mother. You reach out, that might be your mother. You have to be nice. Yeah, So that's what I think it's going to. People actually embracing what they are, which they're created.
Unless they do that, then humanity on this planet's going nowhere.
Yeah, but we're prepared for it. And as the Empress said, the Empress told me to give, she's going to be putting out an address soon because she's read some of this stuff and she hates the fact, thank God her name has never been mentioned. And the reason why we don't give facts for her is because she doesn't want her name thrown everywhere and everything because she can die. She can really be assassinated. It's not a game for her. And she's going to put something forward real soon. It's just going to say, listen, she has her own treasury. She's going to have an age of light regardless in the Forbidden City and in Asia. Because the world doesn't want to, because everyone asks, who are we? The we are the indigenous people, and some people say indigenous means this, deriving from. Okay, the original people. The original people of the earth are us. It's very simple because if you go to India, there's 1 billion people. You go to China, there's 1.5 billion. And then so on and so forth. American Indians, the Mongolians who are also in Russia and Scandinavia. We are all the same. Then there was somebody who was made in Platmos. They were doing grafting of people, and they created another being that was more animalistic and lost his spirit. Lost his soul, meaning that like a snake doesn't have a soul. A snake doesn't have a soul. A snake has a spirit. It's a masculine thing. A monkey has a spirit. You're not going to see monkeys in the spiritual realm. At least I haven't seen them yet. I see monkey-like beings, that are 7 foot tall or 8 foot tall that speak. And that's because there's races of people that were here in this universe, many, just beyond time. Only because there is no time, there's only tension. Time is an illusion. Time is the perception of light. Time is the perception of light. Time is a derivative of weak force. That's why when you sleep.
Time to measure.
Yeah, exactly. Like my son says, time is a measurement.
Yes.
But when we close our eyes, right, when we sleep at night, right, when we sleep and we wake up, it seems like it was 1 minute. Oh, wow, that was quick. Because what happens is there's no more light. So the illusion of time ceases to play the trick on your mind. When you're having a stressful time, it seems to appear to take longer. When you're having a good time, it flies. The universe has too much tension in it today. And this is why we're at this point. This is why horrible things happen, because people are breaking, and the fabric needs to be woven tighter together. But that's going to happen because the stars are about, the whole universe is about to go in another direction. The stars in the sky are about to, the universe is about to appear to rotate in the opposite direction. It's going to appear. It's going to be something magnificent. People have never seen it. It's something that happens with the astral. The Chinese know about it. They know about it.
Should this be the time when the Earth transitions through the block wall? Then reversing direction makes 100% sense to me, because that's what happens to all magnetism.
Correct. Yeah, it's that simple. Yeah, exactly. That's how you know God speaks, when it's simple. That's exactly what you said, is the simplicity of God speaking. It's exactly that. And when we see this, right, people are going to say, wow. And that wow, that wonderment at that very moment is going to tap us into the internet. That's our mind. You see?
Well, I'm looking forward to this, Malik. I really am. If it happens,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. No, it's definitely happening. But that's why what the key is to keep everyone on a certain vibration. Meaning, because it happens all the time. If you look throughout history and all of the religious books, you always see them looking at the stars, and they say, "Oh, the king has to pass. The king, your rulership is over now because the writing is on the walls." The writing on the wall it means it was written in the stars. And the reason it was written on the walls is because the Illuminati was not allowed to show them, was not allowed to practice, so they had to write it on the walls. Yeah. So they can wipe them off the walls.
Yeah.
The illuminated one. They said, no. So remember the king said, oh, and then remember what he did when they told him, no, you're going to die, he told the king. The king said, what did you say is going to happen to me? Hold on. What was that dream? Kill him. We want him. What? You said, what's going to happen? I like when you tell me the dreams about the great stuff, about me getting this and getting that, but now your dream is that my rule is over? Kill him. And that's what happened. So what happened was the evil ones, or the ones that the corrupt ones, they wanted everyone not to know the truth. Not to know the truth. They wanted you to feel that we were bound to earth. I'm sorry, 1 second.
Once you have power, you want more and more and more, then you become corrupted.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. When 6-year-olds have more and more power to the corruption. Yeah. And that's all it is, man.
The only power that does not corrupt is internal power.
Yeah, see, the only power that does not corrupt is internal power. That comes from
the inside.
From the inside. Whatever comes from the inside, that doesn't corrupt. What comes from the outside corrupts.
And what you share from the inside, you double. What you share on the outside, you half.
What you share on the inside, you double. What you share on the outside, you have. Is that correct? What you share on the inside, you have. Yeah.
That it forever once you have an inside.
Yes, exactly. It's your well. Your well of being.
So if I share an apple with you, we only have half of it.
Yeah, exactly.
If I share an idea, we have 2 ideas, and we've got twice as much.
See, like if I share an apple with you, you'll have half an apple and I'll have half an apple. But if I share an idea with you, you'll have an idea, then we'll have 2 ideas. See? So it multiplies opposed to dividing. Very, very interesting, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, he said. Yeah, so that's why what we're prepared to do, right? At the end of the day, because all of that, there's so much mess with all that other account. The account that these people are talking about, those derivative accounts. I think that they're all fraudulent. I mean, I really do. When
you have money that goes to infinity, of course it's fraudulent because it's a fantasy.
And that's why we should just take that credit line and just kill it and just create a new credit line. We'll back out the new world's economy in 1,000 trillion. 100 trillion in gold. And then start from there. At least we know. And then, like I said, we create the foundations. We give those foundations that are created of meritable people from those parts of the world and those countries. And then now that foundation, who now has the wealth, now deposits it, becomes the depositors of that wealth into treasury, meaning that everything that government does with that treasury, it's coming from directly as a partnership between the people not a partnership, but it's the people financing the government once again, opposed to the government acting like we need an entitlement. Entitlement? What do you mean? The people? Of course these people are entitled. Why do you have a job? If you don't, how are you going to be, like you say you're a politician and then say that people shouldn't feel entitled? Well, you're right. We should be entitled to water. We should be entitled to health. We should be entitled to certain things. And if you can't protect those things, then you shouldn't be entitled to the position or entitled to our tax dollars for your salaries.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to shut them down, man. Like I said, I just want to, because once we knock the 48 banks out, right, people want to know how we're going to regulate. All we have is 48 enemies. If we can knock those 48 enemies, and that means we have, because they're the ODFIs for every other bank in the world, meaning the originating depository financial institution. Mm-hmm. So if we can take control of those 48 banks, and we can make a transition very smooth for the people of the world. You know, and the Empress said she'll put up her treasury. That's safe and away. That's planned. We don't need to go to court for our treasury. That's one thing. Well, what we are saying is it was brought to her attention through various sources, including anonymous, that her funds were being, what was happening to her funds. And when she heard that, she took forth the effort of bringing forth using her paperwork and her evidence to put a real lawsuit against the people who have used her asset to imprison the world, because she knows that legally, other than that, it's like the way she says it's either the gold or the bullet. She says either we're going to be able to come up to a situation where we with the BIS we foreclose on those the central banks. We walk into the World Bank, who owes her exorbitant amounts of money, and we sit there and say, listen, don't call any of those countries no more about the debt. Call us, because we are now own their debt. Okay? So leave Mali alone. They're sovereign. Leave all those countries alone. They're now sovereign. We own their debt. It's ours. Now, we want to take Mali's account. What's Mali's account? They owe you $50 billion. Okay, subtract that from what you owe us. Okay, what's Ghana's account? 20 billion, or subtract it. Okay, after we go through all of that, you still owe us more money because of your inflation. You've destroyed your currency. So you can't afford to pay us. So at that moment, we foreclose on the World Bank, erase the debts of those countries. We'll settle every country's debt at the World Bank. And that's what we'll do behind the scenes. We don't need anyone to do that. We can do that as our gift to the world. We're allowed to do that as our gift to the world, to go into the World Bank and say, stop harassing the countries of the world. We now take on their debt because you owe us.
Wouldn't that be useful to do that publicly, Malik?
Yeah, we will. We will do it publicly, but we don't mind doing it silently either and never getting the credit for it. See? Mm-hmm. We don't mind doing it quietly and never getting the credit for it as well. But we're going to have to do it publicly, because we're going to have to go to every nation and we're going to say, listen, we have a deal for your debt. Give it to us. We're going to go to the country, like your brother, and we're going to go in there and we're going to negotiate your debt so you'll be a sovereign nation. They're going to say, what do you want for that? What do you want for that? We're going to say, all we want to do is be able to create a foundation in your nation made of your people, people who are meritable in your country, and so that we can work on solutions, a unified solution, a worldwide unified solution. Education, health, and education,
technology,
and technology. Yeah, because there needs to be something that's one world. Yeah, I don't believe in one world government with one rule, one currency, one this. I believe in everything being backed by one commodity. I believe in that. I believe in everyone in the world, when they get education, that every child in the world should be entitled to the same exact amount of education.
They should have one currency, the same conditions for everybody.
Got it. You got it. So yeah, we believe in one world government. Yeah, not one world government. We believe in one world government ruled by the people. There we go. One world government ruled by the people. Because the people of the world, and of course we have there's not changing countries or anything. It's merely this. We now, in each foundation, can build up, could take 40% of the people in the country, and we say, listen, we're not Republican, we're not Democrat, we're not socialist, we're not this guy, we're not that, we're not this. We are people who are we are made up of everything, every kind of person. But our goal is to be the watchdogs of the funds that are put in the foundation that are being used by the Treasury. And let the people, and then every 2 years, you just change the whole board. Every 2 years, you change out the whole board, bring in some new people. You know, they should be like jury duty. Everyone should have to do a year or something in that foundation. You know, it should be like a jury. Maybe if everyone should have to put a certain amount of time in on that foundation.
I'm sure as time goes by, we'll figure out ways to do this.
You got it, brother. But you understand why I don't speak for everybody. The reason I don't speak for everybody because the everybody part has to be figured out with a bunch of everybody included.
The world has to own this.
You got it, brother. So right now I can't really speak on everybody. All I can speak on is our personal lawsuit, our personal claim, so that we can go and what our intent is to do with the asset, which will be stated in court, which we will tell the court that what we want them to do to resolve this is to freeze all of those accounts and turn them into credit accounts and put them into trust of this foundation. The head of that foundation, the people in that foundation, this foundation will be made up of meritable people from around the globe. The purpose of the foundation will be to create, to give every child, to give every human being equal opportunity. Will we achieve this? In many, many years we will. But
Why
we're going to start now. We're going to start one person at a time.
I don't think it should take many years.
No, I don't think so either because I believe in the flu. I know that there's a superbug that if one person gets it, now 2 people get it, now 4 people get it, now 8 people get it. So if a flu can kill mankind, right, they say, like this disease, then love can do the same thing in healing it.
I believe the same.
So I believe like a super flu, love can save the day. And that's all we need to do is give room for love to breathe. And love can only breathe when there's less tension, because what happens is when it's tension, people start to misinterpret love, fear for love.
All we have to do is beat those weapons into plowshares.
Yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, like exactly, we'll take the nuclear missiles, we'll cut them in half, and then we'll have the cows drinking out of them.